This year has been horrible, and I'm starting to look for a job.
If you're thinking about doing Instacart, don't.
And if you're gonna do Instacart as a full-time job, don't do it.
So apparently, the gig economy is dying. Let's find out why.
And if you're gonna do Instacart as a full-time job, don't do it. I just had an order pop up that said, oh, this order is 45 items for $7. $7 to grab 40 items off the floor, to wait in the line, to pack all of it, to drive to the person's house and drop it off. $7. That's not even minimum wage where I live. I'm not saying don't do Instacart, but I am saying don't make it your full-time thing because I'm struggling right now.
Yeah, that's crazy. But the question is, what are you to do? It's not like the economy is abundant with jobs right now. People are struggling to find jobs. Unemployment, as we've seen, is increasing. And I think the numbers are actually worse, let's be clear. In addition to that, you have expectations versus reality. Most people do these jobs as a side gig whilst they're looking for something more permanent. They find that they can't actually find that job that's permanent, so they do that full time until such a time their employment prospects improve. But naturally, you have costs just because you need to live and you need to take care of those costs. So you do these jobs to get by. But it's reaching a point where the maths aren't mathing. It's not making sense. So it begs the question, who's benefiting from all of this? Are we really in a functioning economy? Is it working well? It seems like it isn't. I mean, $7 to pack 40 items. If you calculate the amount of time that you're going to have to invest in this, you're operating at a loss. You're better off pivoting, experimenting with something else, or just trying something else. I know it's easier said than done, especially if you're in an area that isn't abundant with employment prospects, but you may need to think outside the box because clearly this isn't working. And I think this is indicative of what's to come for the gig economy, because for a lot of people, it simply isn't working.
If you're thinking about doing Instacart, don't. I used to think my old job was like literally the worst because I was, but now this job is slowly but surely topping that job. I've been sitting in my car for 2.5 hours and haven't done anything, haven't made any money. So if that's any justification for you to not do it, there you go. I have 5 stars. I'm a diamond cart, which is the highest level you can get. I get priority access to orders, but if other people have that priority access, they also get to see the orders first. So by the time you go to click accept, it'll be gone. I missed 2 $40 orders today because I didn't click accept quick enough, even though I literally pressed the button and it started loading. And I was like, oh, another shopper accepted the batch. Oh, cool. Like, at least at a regular W-2 job, you make money while being there. I don't make money while I'm just sitting here. I only make money based off of Instacart's little money and tips.
Yeah, I hear that. It's super sad. And the reality is the price is going to keep being driven down, especially with an influx of people who are unemployed and need the work. They're probably prepared to do it for less. And whilst you're supposed to see the job first because you're priority, something tells me that these platforms are giving those jobs to people who are prepared to do it for less or that they can get a higher margin off. That's just a hypothesis. Let me know if I'm bugging down in the comments below. But it has to be said, when you do sign up for these platforms, you kind of know what you're getting into. There's no guarantee you're going to get work. They kind of use you on a needs must basis, and they know they have the leverage. So for lack of a better term, they're going to take the piss. She also says something about W-2 work versus gig work. Whilst I understand it may be frustrating, W-2 work does have its downsides. You've got internal politics, you've got co-workers that you may dislike, you've got co-workers that may dislike you, talk behind your back, be jealous, envious, and just generally negative towards you. You've got stuff that you have to contend with that doesn't have anything to do with the job. Whereas with these sorts of jobs, you're just doing the job. So bear that in mind as well. It's not all good, it's not all bad. Sometimes you have to take the good with the bad. Having said that, I don't think this situation is going to get any better. I do think it's indicative of the gig economy deteriorating, it getting worse, these companies having to squeeze margins out of people. So they're figuring out ways to make money. And if you're a higher cost line item, I think they're going to find ways to use you less or essentially make more money out of the gig workers that they have. And if that means using cheaper ones, guess what they're going to do? That seems to be the story of corporate America, right? To squeeze the middle. And I know this isn't corporate, but the idea here is the less money they have to pay people, the more money they keep in their back pocket. And 9 times out of 10, I think corporations would prefer to do that.
This comment says, gig work, 3.5 years. This year has been horrible, and I'm starting to look for a job. I have been doing gig work since I moved to Florida. I have been doing it full time. That's why I call myself Gig Mom. I do have a YouTube channel that I made around it. I'm active on like over a dozen platforms. And I'm telling you, I agree 100% with this comment. It's been getting worse every year since the pandemic, because it was really skyrocketed during the pandemic, obviously. But every year since then, it's just getting worse and worse and worse. And I remember last year I was thinking the same thing. I was like, oh, maybe it's time to go back to a W-2. I made videos about it, and I have literally been contemplating it and making moves for like a year now. But this year has been by far the worst. I will literally turn on like 5 or 6 apps every morning, whether I sit at home because I don't want to be driving around wasting my gas, or I sit at multiple different hotspots, and because everybody has bots nowadays, or it's just way too oversaturated, and everybody and their mother is doing this type of work now.
She hit the nail on the head. It's way too oversaturated. And when that happens, the prices have to come down. The prices have to come down. There are too many people who are prepared to do this for less. And guess what these apps are going to do? Squeeze you and pay you less. Now, with inflation, unemployment on the rise, and the proliferation of AI, which is going to render a lot of entry-level or low-skilled labor roles obsolete, is it a wise decision to move into the workforce or to move into a W-2 role? I'm not sure. I'm not sure that's the case. I don't have all the answers. But what I will say is that if you're doing a role like this, potentially you're a low-skilled laborer. I'm hypothesizing here. There is the possibility that you are a high-skilled laborer and you just can't find work that matches your expertise. That's also a very viable case, right? But in many cases, the folks that are doing these sorts of jobs tend to be low-skilled laborers. So the question is, are you going to be able to pivot and compete with what's out there in the market? Right now, there's just a lot of uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty in the economy. And with inflation, I think corporations are less likely to hire willy-nilly. It's going to be A, relationship orientated, as in, are you connected and you know people? Or B, is your skill set above and beyond that which exists already? And if the answer is no, you're probably not going to get a look in. That's just the reality right now, because a lot of folks are not prepared to take that risk. What would be interesting to know, though, is what you guys think about the gig economy. I'm not too optimistic about it. I think that earnings are going to continue to decrease whilst cost of living increases, so their quality of life will get worse. What would be interesting to know is what you guys think about this situation. Let me know down in the comments. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I shall see you in the next one. Peace.